Hey everybody, it's Wootini from GayGamer.net, here with a special edition of my weekly podcast, because as you can see, I am in a much nicer set, because I'm in a hotel in Boston for PAX East 2012. If you don't know, PAX is a video game convention for video games, but also tabletop, card games, whatever, just gaming of all sorts. And PAX East is the East Coast version for those of us who really don't want to schlep all the way out to Seattle, Washington for what they're now calling PAX Prime. But PAX is great. There's crowds everywhere, but nothing. I mean, like, there's lines for every game, even the ones you wouldn't think would have lines. There's at least a couple of people waiting their turn. And then some of them have lines that go around the booth. But nothing can compare to the line to get onto the show floor when it opens, because they have an entire section, this entire section of the convention center, this massive room is just set aside for everyone to line up in, and it is insane. I don't even know how early some of these people must line up to be like towards the front of that line and be the first ones on the show floor. That's nuts. I don't wait in that line. That line is huge and scary. I just wait around until they open the regular doors, and then I'll go in the other doors. There was one line that I did actually wait in this year, because at the booth for Sega's Aliens Colonial Marines, they had a photo op with a giant power loader and an alien on the power loader, and you could climb up in the power loader and get your picture taken menaced by an alien. And the line wasn't too long, so I jumped in it, and it was like 5 minutes, whatever, and then I had this really awesome picture of me being attacked by an alien that could not be beat, and all my friends are jealous of. Then I should probably talk about some games. So, the one game that I really wanted to play was Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy, because I wanted to see how that turned out. Because I love music games, and I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy fan, but I love music games. This is the only slight drawback, is that because the game uses the music from the Final Fantasy games, either the vocal renditions, those songs, or the incidental music from the games, that's what you need to know the rhythm of. That's what you're tapping out. So it's not like when you know like a pop song and you know the rhythm of that pop song. Like, I'll have to learn some of this in incidental music because I won't know it that well. But the super deformed Final Fantasy characters are super cute, and there's like a crap ton of stuff to like unlock, so that'll keep me very busy when that comes out in July. Also, there's a like super hard mode for people who are really into rhythm games, and she suggested that I try it because I love rhythm games, and dude, I failed out of it. It was really embarrassing. So we'll have to work up to that when I get the game. But also from Square Enix was the surprise of the show for me, because I had not really heard of it until PAX East, and that's called Quantum Conundrum, which is a first-person puzzle game where you manipulate the world around you in order to solve physics-based puzzles, by either, you know, making things heavier or lighter, or slowing down time, or whatever, reversing gravity. So there's, you know, laser beams blocking your path. You have to figure out how to get an object into the path of the laser beams to stop it so you can slip past. And if that sounds slightly similar to Portal, there's a reason for that, because the creator of this game was one of the designers of Portal. So it has a similar feel in being a first-person physics-based puzzle game, but it isn't Portal, and it has different, there's no portals, but it's similar in that it's using physics to solve puzzles, and, you know, the science fiction element, and having the device that gets you through it, but it feels the same as Portal, but it is not the same as Portal, and therefore, it's super cool, and I can't wait for it to come out on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network this summer, they said. The other game that kind of cracked me up was, well, there were two actually. Lollipop Chainsaw, which is the latest over-the-top extravaganza from Suda51. where you're a buxom cheerleader who has her boyfriend's severed head at her belt that talks to her, and she runs around the high school killing zombies with her chainsaw and pom-poms and whatever. And of course it's just the usual Suda51 over-the-top wackiness, but kind of hilarious too. And then there was also a game called Hell Yeah, and that's just, like, I don't even know what to say about that one. That was from Sega. It's this bizarre, over-the-top platformer. It's like a Metroidvania style, 2D platformer, and that was just some wacky stuff, and everything is just completely over the top and insane. And I'm sure that the rest of the game is even more insane than what I played, which was just one level, and you're just traveling through hell, killing monsters, and, because they saw a scandalous photo of you with your rubber ducky in your bathtub, and it's going to ruin your reputation. So you have to kill them all, everyone who's seen it, and you do so in the most gruesome ways. It's completely over the top, and so that's going to be a lot of fun to play. In other gaming news, there's, of course, my two favorite rooms in all of PAX East, which is the classic console gaming free play room, where you can play old Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Sega CD. They had 3DO. I, of course, pull out the old ColecoVision because that's awesome and fun. And I get to play Ladybug, which is a really fun game. And then this year I had a really good round of Hogan's Alley with the Nintendo Zapper. That was a good one. And then, of course, there's the other really awesome room, which is the classic arcade cabinets room, where they have all the old classic arcade cabinets and some pinball machines, and that's a lot of fun. They had Quantum again this year, which is a really fun trackball game. And it's all free, and it's all awesome, because it's classics, because they're classics for a reason, people. Learn your history. Even though I feel like the current console free play room is always full up and more popular, I prefer the classics. The other thing that was full up and popular, which pleased me to no end, was the panel I attended called Press XY, Transgender Issues in Gaming. Last year there was a gay gaming issues panel, but it was in a very small room in the middle of the corner, back corner, nowhere, and I think it filled with like 50 people. I don't even know. It was a tiny room. And, it was full, but it was a tiny room. This one was in a much bigger room, and I don't even know how many people it holds, probably a couple of hundred or so, and that was full up. I think they might have had to turn people away. And I was just really happy to see that a panel like that would be that well attended. Also really well attended was the Gay Gamer meetup at Fritz, which is a gay sports bar here in Boston. And what I love is that I spoke to a bunch of people at this party who had never even heard of gaygamer.net. They just heard about it through a friend or a friend of a friend. Like, this just word of mouth spreads, and it just becomes known that Fritz is the place to hang out on Saturday night if you're at PAX East or in Boston. And we took over like half the bar was just gay nerds. Very cute gay nerds, by the way. I mean, some of the straight nerds are cute too, but cute gay nerds. So definitely come out to PAX East. It's a lot of fun if you're like, on the East Coast or whatever. If you're on the West Coast, then obviously go to PAX Prime. But PAX is a lot of fun. There's a lot to see, a lot to do, and you can come to our meetup and hang out with us and have a great time. So maybe I will see you next year. And, if not, whatever, I will be here back on my couch in my apartment next week. And I'll see you then. Bye!